What's up, guys? It's March, and that means it is Women's History Month. So we've got to find you a good book for the month. So this one I'm holding here is called Trailblazer. It's the story of ballerina Raven Wilkinson, and she is the first African-American ballerina to ever tour with a major company. It's a new book. I just got it this year. The pictures are beautiful. Great story. Kids love to read about the ballerinas that we have in our library. This one is Who Says Women Can't Be Doctors? It is the story of Elizabeth Blackwell. This one, she was a little girl in the 1830s, and she was the first female doctor in America. Fly High, the story of Bessie Coleman. And if you don't know about Bessie, she's pretty inspiring. And again, it's a great book, a little bit longer than some of the other basic picture books. She is the first African-American to earn a pilot's license. But Trouble, the story of Althea Gibson, and she's the first African-American female to play professional tennis, which is cool. All right, next we have two books on Harriet Tubman, which are both great. They're both picture books. Beautiful. This one is more recent. It's before she was Harriet. Beautiful, beautiful pictures. It is a picture book. I like that it has few words per page. It's a very sparse style, so you can really focus on the beautiful pictures and really absorbing the powerful story. I love the format of that. This one is a Caldecott honor book, actually, and it is when Harriet Tubman led her people to freedom, Moses. So this is Malala's Magic Pencil, and this is the True Book series, more fact-based, less story structure, and Malala Yousafzai is her name, and she is the youngest person in history to earn the Nobel Prize, which just happened, and she fought for girls' rights to get an education in Pakistan. Super inspiring story. I love, love, love this one. It's my favorite of all the ones we have about her in the library because the pictures are beautiful. I won't tell you what happened to her in case you don't know. You definitely want to read her story. All right, and two books about people who fought for equality. This is, of course, Rosa Parks. It's a great version of her story. Again, it's a picture book. And this one actually was another Caldecott honor book. This one I love. I read this one with third grade. It's the story of Ruby Bridges. If you don't know about Ruby, she's a sweet little girl who was thrown into sort of kind of an activist role when she was 6, and she helped integrate schools in the Deep South. This is Around America to Win the Vote, 2 Suffragists, a Kitten, and 10,000 Miles. And these women actually traveled around in 1916 when cars were not so great, and took them a long time, but they drove literally around the country with their kitten and got everybody riled up for women to earn the right to vote. And their names are Nell Richardson and Alice Burke. 1916 from New York City. That's a great story, and I love the pictures. They're like a 1950s vibe. And the next two are both the same author and illustrator. It is Pam Munoz-Ryan, and the pictures are by Brian Selznick, and he is one of my very favorite illustrators that we have here in our library. I love him. So both the same structure. So this one is Amelia and Eleanor Go for a Ride, and it's a story of two friends and celebrating their pioneering spirit. And what's cool is Eleanor was actually friends with this woman. It's called When Marian Sang, and she sang, she had a public kind of concert. She sang outside to an integrated audience in pre-civil rights era, which was like, what? Shocking. So, and next we have two really fun picture books. I really enjoyed both of them. I actually didn't know these stories about history, so I actually learned a lot in both of them, which is always great. This one's Dolly Madison Saves George Washington. Yes, Dolly Madison was a first lady. She was not married to George Washington, but she does save him in the White House, and it's a very cool story to learn about her role in history. And she was an awesome, mighty force for a woman back then. So that's a great story there. And this one, the kids have loved this story this year. I think the illustration, especially the cover, really draws them in because it is constantly checked out and being asked for when they can't find it. It's called Queen Victoria's Bathing Machine. Super cool. So it was like shocking that the Queen wanted to go swimming because she could not show anything other than her face and her hands. And so she came up with a bathing machine to figure out how she could go swimming. So it's really funny. I love the pictures inside, but it's a really interesting story. So our next group, I love all of these, but I actually learned a lot from this book. It's called Rare Treasure, Mary Anning and Her Remarkable Discoveries. I did not know any of this. She is basically our first paleontologist, long before we had a word for paleontology. And she and her brother, when they were teenagers, discovered the first fossils and dinosaur bones. So it's really, really cool, informative for sure. I love this book so much. I love the pictures. I love the illustrations. It's very simple. It's for early readers, and it is called me, Jane. And it is the story of Jane Goodall. And it is also a Caldecott honor book, which is always a great sign. So really, really enjoy that one and learn about her. And of course, Helen, this is Helen's Big World, The Life of Helen Keller. We have some chapter book, nonfiction books on her. I'm not sure the kids always make it through those though, but this is a really interesting, very short picture book that really gives you a nutshell of the full version of her story. All right, the next few I want to show you are collections. So each book talks about several women, not just one. This one is called Girls Think of Everything, Stories of Ingenious Inventions by Women. Kids love to read about inventions here in the library. This is a little bit more advanced reader, really cool illustration style. This one is called She Persisted, 13 American Women Who Changed the World, and it's actually by Chelsea Clinton. I like the format here, just a couple pages on each person. It is a picture book, so you get right to the point and a really cool graphic to go with it. It's Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History. Really cute illustration style. I really like them. And again, it's pretty approachable. It is a more advanced reader level, but you have one page of facts and one picture, and then you can move on to the next person. This is What Would She Do? 25 True Stories of Trailblazing Rebel Women. You can see some of those women there on the back. I love this book. The format's so cool. It's very approachable, very modern structure. A more advanced reader with some pictures still, though really fascinating. It's just a beautiful book. And this is 100 Women Who Made History. Remarkable Women Who Shaped Our World. And again, I really like this because it's just snippets of information, and maybe you find somebody that's really interesting, and then you can go find maybe a full biography on them. That gives you 100 people though. And the last collection, this is A is for Abigail, an almanac of amazing American women. And again, what I like is just little pieces of information. It's not a chapter book, and it's not a long story. I've got a little fold out here, which is cool. It opens up to introduce lots of people. So I love the graphic format of this one. And the last group of books I want to show you is from the Who Was series. Now we have way more than these 4. I just chose 4 inspiring women to introduce you. The kids typically love this series. They're all the same length, the same format. They do have black and white pencil illustrations, but it's like the bobblehead graphic design on the front. They're very recognizable. It's either who is or who was, depending on if they're alive. So you've got like people like Sojourner Truth, Sally Ride, Annie Oakley, Maria Tallchief, and if you didn't know about her, she is the first Native American prima ballerina. Find an inspiring woman to learn about this month and enjoy.